Yo, yo, yo.
And we are back.
What up?
Different intro.
M.I.A. Radio episode 84.
84. That's the year I was born.
Damn, you just gave away your age, bro.
Let them know.
That's
I turned 36 this year.
looking like 26, bro.
I don't even know a jersey number. I remember when I turned 23, I was like, yo. Everybody was like, yo, I'm turning Jordan. Yeah.
Damn, 36, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's crazy. I always assumed you were just like 31 forever.
Forever, right?
After 30, it's like...
Yeah, man. Bro, after 30, everybody's in the same club. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like more of how you... Well, not how you look, but how you feel.
I think that there's different tiers. Like, before 21, you're in one tier. Then, like, post 21 to, like, 25, you're, like, in another tier. And then, like, 25 to 30, and then 30 and up.
30 is like the new 20 now.
I saw a tweet.
Went down.
I saw a tweet yesterday that said, your 30s is just your 20s with experience and money.
Right. Well, they say that's like, I mean, at least like that's like the athletic peak of like an athlete, because it's like your body and brain meet, like all the years, all your knowledge, your experience meets with like your best physical condition. So I'm guessing like it goes the same with just normal people.
Damn,
like once you turn 30 something, it's like your brain finally understands.
I never really thought of that.
Yeah, that's why they say like 32, 33 is like the prime of athlete's career.
I'm still balling then.
Yeah, I mean, some people go till 40, bro.
Yeah.
Some dudes still
shout out
playing.
to Vince Carter, bro. He just retired.
Carter,
dude,
bro.
That dude was playing when I was in high school, bro. I remember watching him like
the dunk contest,
bro, when he fucking jumped over the dude.
Yo, and that's when
I used to watch sports. That's how long ago it was.
When there used to be sports, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Today,
Return of the Heat, bro. Dog. Yo, they're killing it. I mean, I know every NBA team now has like a dedicated content creation team, but yo, I don't know if it's because we're biased, but the Miami Heat's team is
they're on
best.
It. Always on it. The what you reposted today was super dope.
Yeah, their aesthetic, like their gifts, all that shit. Even the like the whole court that they did for the NBA bubble league now that they got going.
Yeah, with the screens and everything.
Bro, like that shit takes fucking time and effort, bro. But Miami's always setting the bar.
You think they're running OBS?
OBS. Bro, speaking of OBS Streamlabs, shout out OBS Streamlabs.
Hey, what up?
Shout out Comcast Internet, bro.
Finally got the upgrade, yo.
Yo, we gotta break it down for the people that didn't tune into Twitch, which I hope you did.
You missed.
But like, yo, that was like up to the second Mission Impossible fucking we pulled off.
It's like one of those things, bro. Like people don't know, everything that goes behind the scenes, and then like
dog, all day I was on the phone with Comcast because I was trying to upgrade the internet for like 3 days, but since it's a business building, it's like a studio office, it was more complicated than just like, yo, I need a new internet, boom. So I had to call like 3 people. They had to verify this, that, and then finally once I upgraded it, there was an outage.
Wow.
On the day we were going to stream. So I literally didn't know if the internet was going to
work. Working. And you can't, bro, for this shit, you can't even tether. Imagine, like.
Couldn't. I tried. I started thinking about hotspots. Right. You can't do that either.
The fucking.
So it was literally a miracle, bro.
Subway across the street.
Dog. I pulled up on the subway because I showed you the screenshot.
Yeah.
At like 2 a.m. once like I was already in bed, and they're like, okay, your internet is now restored. So I'm like, yo, how are we streaming, bro?
Right.
That shit was crazy.
We made the cut.
Shout out to everyone that tuned in though to the.
Yo, it was wild.
Audio One. We gotta shout out Audio One, bro. That guy's the mayor.
We need a title. I mean,
Twitch commissioner. I don't know.
No, I mean just for open. Like he's like the godfather of open format DJs. Like
he's just in there connecting everyone.
Dude,
bro.
He knows literally everybody, and everybody knows him. Like there's not one person. I mean, I've been in freaking Denmark, and people were like, "Oh, like I forgot." Like I was with Stressy, and they were like, his name came up in a random conversation, like Audio One by another DJ or somebody, and I was like, "Yo, like people really know this guy."
It's crazy
worldwide.
Everyone knew him, was aware of him, and familiar with him because of his edits and like traveling and stuff. But now it's crazy that like Twitch and like online streaming is like he's even more known in the community. Like this shit is bringing like everyone together. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, it's you know, we've touched on this a lot, pause. But right now with everything going on, like if you've had that foundation and if you built your networking and you've done all that stuff, like you have a more solid fan base than, you know, the guys that have 10,000, 20,000 fake followers and they only post, you know, like them at the club or like there's no real substance or no real connection with any other audience. Like, what are those people doing, you know? Like,
Yeah, you're really starting to see either people that are trying to do this online shit or like just doing it because that's the thing everyone's doing,
right.
but they don't really have the personality or
Yeah.
like any real like relationship with their people.
Right. Yeah,
So it's
there was
awkward.
just a disconnect, you know. Always, you know, I always tell DJs like make it organic, you know, have those organic connections and those are the people that will tune into your Twitch. Those are the people that will download Twitch, you know, make an account and log in, you know. There's a few people that I saw on ours that, you know, people that we know that I like, you know, I could tell it was so and so, but they're not DJs, you know, that have made an account to follow their friends
Yeah,
and the
nah,
homies and shit. So
it's dope, and bro, you could tell like, I mean, you it was like what almost 2 hour stream, and I think like maybe 30 minutes was solid music, like
yeah,
mixing, but like it was always in the background or like we're
it was
putting it
smooth.
down,
It
like
was smooth. Like there wasn't any hiccups, and we had stuff. We had like our bullets to follow and everything, and we had stuff that we wanted to talk on, and we I think we talked about one of 4 or 5 things because like the interaction with the chat is so good, you know.
yeah, like we weren't sure what to expect, so we're like, yo, let's just make sure we can vibe off each other if anything,
Right.
but. Yo, that community shit is real, and like that's what I'm saying. Like no one cared. I mean, when we were DJing, it was cool, but like it wasn't like you gotta sit there and watch us DJ. Like
Right.
not every, but there's, and not to say that there's not DJs that are killing it like that.
Yeah.
That are
Just on that
that's
format
what they
of
do, and it's like I'll watch it because it's super dope. But like I think everyone just has to find their own shit if they want to do it. They don't
yeah,
gotta
I've seen
force it
DJs,
either.
you know, I've seen DJs say, "Oh, I don't have the personality that, you know,
That's your
Zach
personality.
has," whatever, like Four Color Zach, whatever. And it's like, cool, that's him. Like he's always been like a clown, you know. Like some of us talk shit, some of us, you know, do their shit, some of us just DJ. So if you set up a DJ with just you and you DJing and you doing your creative shit, your dope shit, like,
And also
cool.
it's also like, yo, you don't have to do it. It's not like
Yeah,
I know I have mad homies that are like, bro, that's just not my shit. Like
yeah,
I'm just not vibing with it. That's better than trying to force yourself to do something to just to do it. And then
yeah. There's no point in enforcing something. I mean,
there's other ways you can do. You don't have to go on Twitch. It's just, but I mean, like I said, it was fun though. I didn't know I would enjoy just sitting back here talking shit.
yeah, we were
Like,
literally just talking shit, and then
it's like a DJ hangout.
and like you said, the DJing was like the least like focus on the whole stream. Like we weren't really even. I mean, we were DJing or I was DJing. Like there was little pockets or whatever, but it wasn't the focus, you know.
And it was dope because then like I forget where sometimes I would forget we're streaming. We're just hanging out, and then you play some old school Miami shit, and I'm just like, oh man, I remember that one. Like
Right.
like if we were just at the crib chilling, and I think that's what good fucking streaming is, bro. It's just like letting people into your world. It's not like performance art, or I mean, for some people, it's definitely performance art, but I mean, on the Twitch side of things, though, I feel like now more and more people are starting to realize that there's a income aspect to it, and like the subscription aspect to it of like gaining a steady revenue.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you know, I told you I went on yesterday from the M.I.A account and I was like scared to click on anything because I mean on my account like I lurk on other people's shit and you know like people see my name so they're like, oh, you know, I go into different people's pages and shit and they shout me out and I don't really use that to stream at the moment, but on the M.I.A radio it's our shit and you know you're the one that handles all the logistics sides of the show, so I was like, yo, I don't want to click on some shit and this shit fucking like a $50 fucking emoji comes out. You
Bro,
know,
that's the thing when you first
that's
when
what I'm
you
like, yo,
when you first start playing with Twitch, you realize like, yo, like you can monetize anything like an emoji, emote,
right,
emote,
right,
remote. I gotta like say
emote.
remote before I say it to
Is that
remember.
what it is? Emote.
Emote. They educated me on the chat of how to pronounce it. Emote.
Not emoji.
Emote. Uh but yeah, like it's just an interesting fucking platform. And I just saw what's his name? Logic signed a deal with
With
Twitch,
Twitch, I saw that.
multi-million-dollar,
I saw that.
which
It's crazy.
like if you think about it, it's like we all kind of fell into this and discovered it through a pandemic, but like it's kind of crazy that artists weren't using it
Right.
like a steady access to their life,
And it was
where
just
only fans of real fans of them
and
can see.
it was just gamers, you know, it was just gamers before. And like I mean, I remember, you know, shout out to Regs, like he'd be on Twitch and he'd be doing his shit, and like he's built his community and he has his friends and his homies and shit. And like as a DJ, you know, even just going back to like early pandemic and Instagram live, like bro, I remember like the first weekend, bro, you go on your Instagram and it's like the top of your Instagram was like 30
Yeah,
people that were live. And at the same thing, it was like something new, you know, like some people had an iRig, some people went to get it locally, some people ordered it like right. If you didn't order it that first week, you were still waiting for it, you know, like you were back ordering. But as that happened, like people started kind of adapting, and I like the feeling of feeling like I feel like everybody was. This is one thing that I hate about social media is that like everybody's kind of on the same page, but they're not on the same page. Like, but going into streaming and going into this shit, everybody was new to something, so
yeah,
everybody was kind of growing at the same time, and it reminded me of like MySpace and like, you know, when Instagram started and when all these different social media started, like everybody's learning something new. So it was pure, you know, it was pure. Like, you know, you had 5 people watching you, 10 people, 15, 20, 30, whatever the fuck it was. It was pure and it was organic, and like there wasn't any tampering, there wasn't any filtering, there wasn't anything of that. So when it shifted to Twitch, like, all right, now it's like it went from like MySpace to Facebook. Like now there's like a
yeah.
standard, and then there's like a way to monetize it and a way to like really build off of it, and there's a real community. So it's crazy. And who would have thought, you know, 2 years ago that yo, like we're gonna be on Twitch streaming, and that's gonna become a source of income, you know. So it's wild, and I mean I'm looking forward to everything.
The dope part about it is that like the behind the scenes and like all the shit we were saying about like the internet and then setting this whole shit up, like that shit is fun, bro.
Right.
Like it really expands your creativity. Like, I mean, I'm sure not all people like that's not their strong suit, but like, I mean, I fucking love all the behind the scenes shit and the OBS and like, yo, because you could do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and then every week I'm thinking like, oh, what can I do? Or I'll see someone's shit and I'm like, yo, that was crazy. How did they do that? Start looking up YouTube videos. It's like unlocked my brain. I don't know. I feel like all these years were just leading up to this pandemic, so then I could just
Yeah.
start streaming.
Yeah, I mean you've always been more of, and bro, and people hit me up all the fucking time. All the fucking time. And I'm like, yo, look, like I tell them straight up, I'm like, yo, like Zaya handles the logistics. I have like, you know, I mean we both do our shares, but I'm like strictly logistic to Zaya. And then I come up with the creative stuff or points and music, and then topics and everything else that's more on the DJ social side of things.
You're
And
the face of M.I.A. radio,
Nah,
bro.
I mean,
You're on the
that's-
front lines, bro.
I'm on the front line, you're in the back, and
Spicy
spicy
tweets.
tweets, dog.
I'm in
Shit.
the lab, and you're just out there going to war.
I let a few. I didn't let anything too spicy out. Pause. I mean, I don't know. That's more like a.
Yeah, I saw when you what was it, something, a tweet about the birthday favor set.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was. You know what's crazy? I have a bunch of drafts.
Right.
Like my drafts are wild, and
That was
like
a mild. That was mild.
that was dealing with like a draft, and yeah, it was like the birthday favor and the birthday sets and like all that shit. I think we kind of.
But you were no, but you were saying you were referring to some people posting like old ass pics, like
Yeah, like yo, like I mean, I went through it the other day. I saw it from yesterday. Marty posted it. Shout out to Marty Rock. Bro, like I feel like yo, I literally feel like I'm like listening to fucking Usher and like missing my ex girlfriend. Like I'm like crying in the bed, like that Wolverine. You seen that Wolverine meme?
yeah.
I feel like that, and I'm like looking at my phone that old videos of DJing outside with people. Like I'm
It
just
seems so
"Fuck,
foreign,
bro," and I'm
bro.
just like, damn, like, and then like I'll post one or two. I posted one yesterday on my story, like, yo, like I miss that shit so much. We all miss it so much.
But I think I get what you're saying, like, because everyone misses DJing. And I seen posts that are like, damn, like, I miss the interaction, the people, and
Right.
the program. But then I see what you're saying, like,
The context of
some
it.
dudes like still trying to clout chase, still trying to like flex, or not flex, but like trying to
yeah, it's like
tag a
humble,
club.
kind of humble braggish. Like pretty much
Yeah.
like they only thing they're missing is like they forget to tag like Dave
Yeah.
Grutman or like
Because now that shit was kind of normalized back then. Like everyone kind of had to do
actually
it.
let's not use that word, please.
Normalized.
I fucking despise that word.
Normalized.
I despise, like, I'm on Twitter so much, like that's top 5. I saw a tweet that was like,
we can't normalize these things.
no, I saw one that said let's normalize, and it was all of them, like all the Twitter words in one. It was,
Oh my god.
fuck man, I wish I would have like liked it or screenshotted it, but it was like let's normalize whatever, like, and I was just like, yo, and somebody was like, how is this tweet showing up when I like muted all these words?
But
But
yeah,
you're saying my bad.
no, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like it goes back to
The angle.
right, like back in, like it was part of the game. Like you know, like you have a
Right.
gig, you gotta like tag, show love,
Right.
make sure everyone knows where you're playing. But now
Right.
it doesn't age well.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, we're not DJing
Like,
anytime
don't-
soon.
yeah,
no
like-
one cares. Bro.
and it was irrelevant then, and it was it was irrelevant then, and it's even more relevant now. Now it's like you're even more selfish, and I keep saying selfish content, like, and the point behind selfish content is like you just caring about yourself. I mean, literally what being selfish is, but you think that you're putting yourself out in a positive way and promoting yourself and letting people know, hey, but no, nobody fucking cares. Not even right now. Like, I mean, especially not right now, but like if you post some shit and you're like, yo, damn, I missed this shit, or this was fun, or like, damn, like back in the day, or this and that, or, but I've seen people like kind of say that, or like
Yeah, you don't. I mean,
in a way, like the way that it's phrased, or the way that it's like, can't wait to get back to this. Like, fam, no, like you DJ there, you closed, or like it was what I call, when going to the tweet, the birthday favor. Like look, we've all pulled those birthday favors. We've all pulled favors. We've all pulled strings to get in at one place or another and do this and that. But you get to a point in your career, you get to a point in your life where you should know your value, and those favors are pretty much hurting you more than they're helping you. Like if you've been out there for so long and doing this for X amount of time, and you're still asking for some of these favors, like, yo, it makes you look like a fucking dumbass, because by now you should already know the booker. You should already have made those connections. You should have already done all that shit. It's like when I say, now that I've been working more with like artists and shit like that, it's like, yo, like I don't really care about a picture with an artist. Like that's cool. Like
unless it's Robin Williams. That
that
was a nice
posted
flex.
that one. That was it was his birthday, yo. Rest in peace, Robin Williams.
That's a legendary.
I have that one, and I have a Dave Chappelle one too from that same trip. It was
That's
2000.
like Robin Williams, Dave Chappelle, and fuck, what's the guy's name? That's like he always pops in and pops out. Spider had a story with him.
Bill
Murray.
Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Yeah. Yeah. Like my thing is like, yo, now that I'm grown and I've been there and I've done that and all this shit, like if the artist is, if I'm at a studio or anywhere that I'm at and there's an artist there, let that person be. I want to know who their manager is. I want to know who takes care of their shit and who does everything, because that's the person I'm gonna talk to and I'm gonna connect with. I'm gonna get their info, and they're the ones that are gonna get me the drop. They're the ones that are gonna get me dubs, and they're the ones that are gonna get me the connect with the artist. Like, so if you're gonna pull all these favors just to show off for your Instagram followers, and Grutman doesn't know who you are, like, what good does that do? You know?
But I feel like I've been, because we've been talking to DJs on the Twitch, and I've been talking to DJs just outside and like seeing, checking in on people and stuff, and I sometimes I get the sense that like some dudes are, and I mean I've been like going deep, but like it's like for so long you've been doing this one thing that you've like identified with, and like, which I mean everyone has their thing, but like it's been taken away. So now it's like, yo, what do I do? And like some people don't have other interests or other things that they're pursuing, or they have no idea, because it's literally like 20 years in the game DJing, like, yo, I'm a DJ, but now there's no DJing. So it's like there's still sometimes I see a post and I'm like, bro, like it's okay that you're not DJing. Like you don't have to like remind us that you're a DJ. Like you could post a picture of your kid or your dog, whatever.
Post something
your life, bro,
that you're doing, like lunch, even something as simple as your lunch.
I mean, I miss those food pics, bro.
Yeah,
that's the point that we got into.
Like just don't lie to yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself. Like, right? Like I think when this pandemic hit, not even when it hit, after it, like when it became serious, like when after the month. And I always go back to the month, because the month was like the marker. We're like, all right, this shit's kind of real. Well, this shit is real. And we're going to be in here until the summer. That's the mentality. So from there on, you should have just been like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do? Or like, kind of change your mindset instead of, man, let me repost this venue. Like, yo, like I've seen people like, yo, like crusty ass footage of like Scratch Live, like Passions, and I'm like, yo, like Passions been demolished. There's a fucking new building. Example, I'm just using that as an example. I didn't see anybody post Passion and say I want to go back to this or this, but venues like that, like, yo, it's been gone. It's long gone. Move on, man.
Hold it on, bro, for dear life.
So it's like you're lying to yourself, and at the end of the day, you're just getting screenshotted and sent to group chats.
That's right. There's still DJ group chats out there.
Man, I'm in
getting
some
roasted.
I'm in some that are heated. Shout out to Team Toxic. That's one of them. I have a quarantine. I'm in that one too. That one's nationwide.
Tell them to take it to the what's it called, the Twitch chat, bro.
Twitch chat, yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna send the link over when we go live to some of these chats.
But yeah, I'm fucking grateful that like I've always had that mentality of like, yo, this shit could be gone like in a second, bro. So I've always had that fear of like, yo, this is great, but like, what else can I do? Because I don't this seems too good to be true.
Yeah,
I always go back to that one gig that we had, bro. That shit always reminds me, because we knew that casino gig.
Oh, fact. I thought you were gonna say the boat. Remember the boat?
Oh, the boat too. Oh my god,
the boat. I was talking to somebody about the boat. Yeah, let's talk about. I don't think we've ever discussed the boat.
Wow, I forgot about that one, bro.
Dude, that's when I had just
we were living the
starting
dream, bro.
Working with with Brian, and I think he was still kind of testing me out. Fucking Brian is like testing it out, and he put me on the boat.
Well, we gotta explain the boat.
Okay,
it was the Bimini.
It was Bimini
World Resorts Bimini.
The World Resorts. They have a few casinos and stuff all over
in the Bahamas.
Yeah, they have in the Bahamas. I know there's one in New York. They have some all over the world.
And they had their own ship.
Yeah.
And it was going out of the Miami port.
Yeah.
And these dudes, I forgot where they're from. The resort.
Yeah, I think it's like somewhere Asia, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah,
they had guap,
insane money, insane money,
no pun. Yeah. And then they were like, all right, like we have this boat, and it would go every weekend. It went to the Bahamas round trip.
Friday, Saturday. It was Friday,
Saturday.
So it was a boat, but I mean, it's a small cruise, like one of those. I don't know. I mean, it had rooms. It wasn't like the Royal Caribbean huge cruise. I don't know the capacity of the boat.
Yeah, it was like a medium-sized cruise.
Yeah.
It had rooms. They were small, but it had rooms.
Right.
And it was like a normal boat, a normal cruise.
So at the time, mind you, this was almost 10 years ago, like 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I'm 20, 27, 26, and
I'm like 22,
you guys are
22, 23.
23, and Brian's still promoting for all. And Brian has always had like younger guys.
That's when we were working with ProFresh with Vitamin C.
Yeah, but he also had like his promoters
Right,
and shit.
right.
So it was a combination of a bunch of different people working on this boat. And what it was overnight trips to Bimini, and they would dock, but we wouldn't get down, right?
I think it was the thing. What it was you could. It was like classes of tickets. You could go and then stay in the Bahamas, and then
like one way.
Yeah, like you had
whatever.
a ticket, and then you could disembark in the morning and stay there, and then come back Sunday, or you could just go and then at midnight. Oh wait, no, because you would have to come back.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Or would they just go to international waters and come back?
Wow, that seems no, but we would
dock, right?
No, but I remember the gig. We would get home like
at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning,
right? That's what I'm saying. So I think we would go dock. We would stay there for a little bit. We couldn't get down.
Oh yeah. You could get down to Bahamas and party a little bit if you wanted to, and then come back.
It was different tiers. So the lowest one was that you got on the boat. Once your age didn't matter. Once you got on the boat and it was international waters, all right, the bar's open, and everybody would fucking run to the bar. And we would play on the deck, like the top deck. So it was smaller.
Yeah, there was two. It was the main deck and then another.
Oh yeah, and then there was like the one on the back of the boat. Remember that one? Yeah. That one was like the secondary one.
Yeah. I did both.
So the top deck, it was pretty much like a lounge. You know, it had like a generic cruise style bar, like little sofas, dancing area when we were DJing and shit. And it was wild because, Brian was, y'all were 22, 23. I was 26, 27. And
they basically were like, yo, we're
19-year-olds.
We're trying to do this thing. They gave the account to it was like all these promoters in Miami kind of came together, but the company we were working with was in charge of the DJs and like organizing the events. So that's what was crazy about it. We would get the bookings of the DJs, so we would always be playing, and on top of that, we can make suggestions and bookings. So like there was like dope ass DJs.
We did.
On that shit.
We shout out to Brian for being smart, and like there was not trade-offs, but there was business moves done, and we brought people on, and vice versa, and they looked out and whatever. But it was wild because as soon as we crossed an international, mind you, out of Miami international waters is like 20 minutes out. Like once you're on the boat, it's fucking 20 minutes out.
That's so crazy.
And I remember there was like 18, 19-year-old, and you can get a room. So people would go fucking ham.
Bro,
so
spicy.
Spicy.
But the shit is why we even started talking about this was because
the budget was wild.
They gave you a room.
Yeah.
Your own room.
Oh, we had like a service room. Like a green room pretty much for all the DJs.
Yes, but like I think it was like four DJs to a room.
Right.
So that was like every DJ had their little station.
Right.
And you got a wristband for unlimited drinks, and the budget was fucking crazy, bro.
I just remember this one DJ being like smacked. He had to be on.
There was a lot of.
He had to be on something. Well, one of them threw up on the equipment.
Oh, I don't yet.
I mean, we could. We'll say that. Well, this one I
want to know.
This one I can't say on air. This is one that I cannot say on air. One of them was on drugs. Like
there was
on drugs, and he was grabbing the pillows from the sofa and throwing them in the air, like throwing them over the water, and then trying to get them on the exhaust on like the top of the thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was like,
that's right.
Like throwing shit, and I remember Brian was like, because I think he was like resident somewhere, and he's like, yo, we'll put you on here and whatever, and then it just didn't fucking work out because of that.
It was crazy. I remember because then I would be in their office a lot. So then the week after the trips, like on Monday I'd be in there and I would hear like, bro, like just damage control and like
Yeah.
all the stories and
Yeah.
like shit they gotta fix. So that's when I was like, bro,
We
this
knew.
like this isn't gonna last. This is
Yo,
crazy.
one thing, this is super dope, and I think it's kind of cool concept that they did have, and a lot of people didn't know. But you knew that there was a group of guys that were employees that were dressed like normal people that would dance. You knew that, right?
Nah,
Oh my god, bro. So like on
never
the
heard of that.
dude on the dance floor they would have, I mean, because it was a cruise, but the whole point was to not make it cheesy cruise ish like
Yeah, it's supposed to
environment.
be a club, Miami
Right.
club.
So they
cruise.
wanted to make it like a club. So like, the opener would play, and sometimes the opener would just have to go in because like as soon as people came in, they were fucking ready.
Yeah, because and also remember, people, it was an actual cruise, so people had to do that whole docking
Yeah.
process and like the embarkation
Right.
and the customs
Right,
and
right,
like
right.
you're waiting in line. People were like pre-gaming in the port, and then
Right.
it's like 8 o'clock p.m. There's never people at the port at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
p.m. because they all sail like at 12,
Yeah,
1,
during the
2.
day.
So like it was a weird fucking. People were just like waiting, drinking, and like
So when they got on the boat, people were ready, yo. And so I remember, like, because I did it a few times. I opened a few, and bro, since I had just started with Brian, I think I opened like, bro, 3-4 times, and then like it was wild because with the room, depending on who was going, you're like, yo, like, I want to bring somebody, and then somebody would be like, hey, look, hey, while you're on, and then you'd always like figure it out. But there was like a group of 4 guys that I think sometimes they would have a girl, but they would just kind of dance. They would like they would be like some like Chris Brown looking dude, like doing all these fucking crazy moves, and like when you would play those shit and people would start dancing, like they would kind of hype the crowd up. But if you didn't know that they worked there, you were just like, damn, these motherfuckers are lit, or like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys?
But I feel like it makes more sense if you had girls doing that.
I think it was like they had a girl or two, but it was mainly.
Yo, that's actually a genius idea. Like, all those Zantra dancers and like all those companies.
Right.
What if they like scrap that shit, that like corny like stand on top of a thing and people watch you? But like imagine they pay these girls to just be out and dancing, but like you can't be like partying. You have to like really be like what are the name of those things called? Like hype curator or whatever. Like they had a title, but imagine like girls like strategically on the dance floor dancing to get other people starting to dance. I think that makes more sense than just having people on a podium like dancing like in cages. I never understood that shit. You could get more people dancing on a dance floor with like good looking girls acting like not acting. I mean, I'm sure they would be having a good time, but
that reminds me of you remember at set when they would have the girls that would go in. Did you ever? I don't know if you did that. Because
you're uncovering all this secret shit I didn't know about.
So at set, I think this is when I was doing set on Tuesdays with Iron Line. One time I go into set and it was a Tuesday party, and I go up and they have the pre-shift meetings and everything. So the bottle girls would be here, whatever. So one time I go and there's like the bottle girls like doing their makeup and this shit, and then there was another group of girls, and it was like 10 or 15 girls, and I recognized some of them, and I was like, wait, that's so and so, that's friends with so and so that comes to FDR, and I'm like, huh. And then this dude comes up, typical like bottle manager, like the guy that's on his fucking phone 24/7, like, and he's like, all right, is everybody here? All right, yeah, okay, all right, you girls all look good. You two, found blue, the blue bar. You two hit the living room. You two prime 112, and he's like sending all these girls over, whatever. And then I realized the whole fucking scammeroo. They had these girls fishing, literally fishing, and they would be like, "Yo, fucking drinking their martini," they would do it for like conferences, like big weekends, like big weeks, when there would be all this shit. So they would go to living room at the W and fucking blue bar at the Found Blue and all this spot, and two hot ass girls in their early 20s, fucking 50-something-year-old fucking Kenneth Smith, from Nebraska, like These girls are hitting on him. He thinks he's gonna knock it out the park, and you're like, hey, let's take it somewhere else. Let's go to set. You should get a bottle. Boom.
Wow.
You get a bottle. The girls get commission. The club makes money. Bottle is done. Peace.
Bro,
A la pinga.
that's like
They-
foul shit though.
Yeah, but that's
Miami
that's
shit.
illegal. That's illegal. 'Cause
No,
it's soliciting. Like they can't go to
no,
somewhere else, right?
it's illegal, and also like, bro, if like another venue like catches you doing that.
Exactly.
But what it just reminded me, I remember in Vegas, I was with my homie. He had just started promoting at the clubs, but over there is very corporate.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have a legitimate job with
No.
the venue.
Yeah, you're employed. You have benefits and other
So
shit.
we were at another club that he doesn't. He was working at for Tao Group, and we went to, I think it was the Bank, which is not. It was the Light Group,
Right.
and he was out there like, yo, he just moved. We were chilling. I was introducing him to everyone. He was like, everyone like was fucking with him. He's a good guy. So then, but you know, you dressed in a suit. You look like promoter 101. They
Right.
know it's a promoter. So, but he's not. He's like from Miami. He's not thinking that like he's doing anything wrong. So he's giving. He just got his Tao Group card. He's
Yeah.
like on like, yo, I'm out here from Miami. What's up? My name's whatever.
Right.
So he's giving out all his cards, and he's just like, yo, if you ever need anything, hit me up. Like, yo, I'm fucking from Miami. He says my boy, blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, like 2 securities run up behind him, like, yo, what are you doing? And he's like, what's up, bro? I'm just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? What just happened?
Yeah, it's alarming. Like we're not used to that shit.
Yeah, and then the manager comes like, hey man, you can't be doing that. And he's like, what am I doing? I don't know what you're
Right.
talking about. And he's like, oh, you're trying to get people to your club. He's like, I know you work for whatever. And he's like, nah, I just met these people and I'm giving them my card. I'm not trying to whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm from, and he had to explain it to them,
Right.
but they were like, yo, they don't play that shit
Yeah.
at all. Like, you trying to go into a venue and take their people, their
Right.
business. It's crazy. But in Miami, that seems normal. Like girls doing it. That's
Yeah.
typical scammer
Yeah. I
shit.
mean, but I think that the venue knew that they were at the door, and they were just kind of scrambling and figuring shit out and just trying to make it work how it works, you know?
But the one thing I do remember from set is that ridiculous flying contraption that they had on top.
Yeah.
How stupid does that seem right now?
I mean, bro, you know it's wild.
And dangerous.
The I mean, they were doing that shit here, and I know that Night Train would talked about it on the road, and like people on the West Coast were talking about it later, like in LA and in Atlanta. Like they were doing that shit here like 5-6 years ago. During EDM, like it became more popular like in the hip hop clubs and like the hip hop parties and stuff. So yeah, I mean, bro, I remember one time fucking Aris ran in the booth and fucking yelled at me and like, what the I fucking told you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like going fucking ham, mind you, like the person. So for everybody listening, the DJ booth, it's a rectangular shaped club. The DJ booth is in the end, it's in the short part, and in the back is a huge LED screen, and there's a hole in the top, in the roof. There's a hole, and there's a little attic. They used to have a little speakeasy bar, but they ended up using it as storage. So the whole club's in front of you. When you're up there, you see the whole club, and they had a chain thing that went to the middle of the club and came down. So if you were that fucking insecure rich ass motherfucker that wants to impress everybody, you would buy a different package. They would have like the Superman package, the 007 package, and this and this and that. And well, I mean, we had meetings about this shit. Like DJs, make sure you have Star Wars theme, Superman theme, Batman theme, Rocky theme, and don't play that fucking remix. That is not the Rocky theme. I remember this like clearly. Don't play. I have it.
Yeah, because I think Conflict made an edit that everyone was using.
And there was a baile funk.
Yeah, so you could get out of it real quick.
Yeah, so it was like playable.
Everyone not buying a bottle didn't give a fuck.
Exactly. So one time they were like, oh, we have the fucking Prime. And this is before the venue got the iPad. Like they were like, oh, we have a fucking whatever package. And I'm like, we were like in the middle of switching, and I was DJing with Ironline, and he's very like by the book and this and that, and like I was like, yo, just fucking let's switch and get on the mic and do this, or put the song on here, and then when you do this, and everything was kind of like, and then they were supposed to do that, and then the guy like ran in, like, what the fuck are you up? And I'm like, yo, we're switching. And he's like, well, I don't fucking care. And I'm like, okay, like, but it was so a girl could get on the fucking chain, get pushed to the middle of the club, come down, and then they have the visuals in the back of 007, and the girl comes down with a suitcase. They open the suitcase, and there's a bottle of champagne,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, mind you, that person gets a fucking ego rub for 10K.
How much of an ego stroke is
Ego stroke,
nightlife in general,
I mean,
bro?
that's
When you
all-
look
that's pretty much all it is. I mean, nightlife in general is an ego stroke in those clubs and those levels, and you know, we've talked about growing out of things, and some people are still on it, and some people still think that. I mean, when I say still think, I'm talking about like years, like 2 years back. You know, we stopped doing that shit like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it was, we caught the end of it, and 2015 was pretty much like the end of it, like into 16, 17 when EDM died, you know, and that shit went out the fucking door, and like it like in Miami. It ran its time, and it ran longer than most places, you know, except for Vegas, because it's fucking Vegas.
right.
And other venues, bro, I remember telling people, like, going to San Antonio and being like, yo, you know, like, oh, Mansion just closed. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, yo, it's closed. Like, that shit's not popping. Like, it's shifting into a different, and they're like, nah, man, that's not going to happen.
There's still some spots like that, well, I mean, right now, who knows, but there's still some big clubs like that, but.
Right.
Like, yo, I'm fucking not chasing that shit no more. Like, you could tell me so and so big club. I'm not like, yo, I gotta fuck it.
Yeah,
like, yo,
why?
like, bro, because what does that mean at the end of the day, bro? Like a bottle coming down, you get the video recap, and then it's like the shit's all irrelevant now when you think about it.
But let me be devil's advocate here, because I've, like, we talk about this a lot, and then somebody was like, oh, Don Hot. And I was like, well, look, Don Hot changed the game on South Beach. And he came in at the right time. He was the right skilled person at the right time, at the right place, and made the right moves.
Yeah, and also you have to understand, like, that's certain people, like, that's his vibe. He enjoys that environment, and he knows how to like coincide in that environment and rock it and kill it, which is why he's been such a good fit and why he's the guy, because like he's comfortable in there and he likes that. And there's some people that don't.
Right, and the big thing is that, like, you had to had seen the clubs 15 years ago, you know, mid 2000s. You had to walk into Mansion, make it into Mansion, you know, 2006, 7, 8, you know, even earlier, you know, when it was pre-social media, when you had fucking Paris Hilton, and you know, half of the people that work at Live used to work at Mansion, you know, pre-Live, you know, Live opened in 2008. So it was all those people that build the Miami nightlife that were running a well-oiled machine that was the venue you wanted to work at, was the place that, you know, that Conflict fucking built, you know, and these guys, you know, Mauricio and Irie built and Conflict maintained. Let's phrase it better. You know, Opium Garden and all these other spots. Those were luxury venues. Those were like goal-setting venues where the money was good. You know, they were making racks. You know, I've heard stories of DJs getting paid. They didn't have no contracts, but I've heard DJs getting paid to not play in other places.
And that's
Roman Jones calling people, yo, I heard you booked at so-and-so. I'll, you know, pay you what they're paying you plus whatever, you know?
That's the thing. That's when the DJ was like held in high regard, and like they were paid well, they were treated well, and they were like, yo, fucking do your thing, like life of the party. But then it got into this weird like micromanaged, like, yo, bottle service, we run. It started
shifting from the music to the theatrics of everything. I mean, and something that we've talked about before too. And dude, you remember at Mansion, like, no matter what you were doing, when the girl would go up, when the ballerina, like the Cirque du Soleil girls that they would put up, yo, when they would have a ring, like a big Sonic looking ring, and they would bring it down, and the girl would get on the ring, or they would have the cloth, and they would come down, whatever, and all that shit. Like, that was a vibe killer. That would destroy the room. No matter, dude, you could be playing the top song, "We Found Love," the fucking weekend it came out, the fucking rope or the cloth or whatever would come down, kills the mood instantly.
Because people are actually
People
watching
are
it.
watching. People lock into that.
I was watching it.
Yeah,
It's
everybody's
like,
watching. You're like,
yo, she
the whole
gonna fall?
process. The whole fucking process. It's the process of her getting on, and then is she gonna fall? And you know,
Because
fucking
she's actually doing some like cool
dope
hard
shit.
So it's
and you
like
know, fucking
whoa.
Amy from Nebraska that fucking smells like sunscreen because she didn't shower before coming to the club, has her fucking phone out filming it, and that's where the attention went. And they realized that all these different theatrics is what was not bringing people in, but what kept people there, because it was this at this time, this show 1:30, the confetti, and then you know those were the social media. I think that's kind of what triggered social media posts. You know, like the more the club was doing, the more they were posting, the more it seemed like that people desired. And as time went by, like it ended up like going up in price, and then it just it got devalued in the sense of your regular customer. Like, yo, like, all right, cool, like, you know, this is geared toward that. It wasn't for the club. It started to be just for one person, and that's when the music changed, the format of the venues changed, and just the whole aspect of South Beach and the whole aspect of the nightlife changed. So no matter what you were playing, no matter what you were doing, people were focusing on that. And as the music changed more to hip hop, you know, the mic started coming in more, and other factors on DJing and catering to these people. And that's when I was like, yo, like, I rocked the mic back then. I mean, I would rarely get on the mic, but you know, I developed that a little bit later, but it wasn't my strong point. It wasn't any of our strong points, and we wouldn't,
because it was also frowned upon.
It was frowned upon insanely.
So we didn't even like want to even work on that, because we were like, we're never gonna have to use this.
I remember seeing the first time I heard Conflict on the mic, I was just like, and I remember we had been like fucking with him for a while. At Louis, he wouldn't get on the mic ever. Like, I don't think he ever really got on the mic except for like battle shit or whatever. But like, he wouldn't be like, yo, you know, Louis, what's up? Like, I remember it was like one of the like third Wednesdays that I went, and it was kind of slow. And DeVell, shout out to DeVell, he walked in and he gives him the mic. And Conflict's like, he turns it on, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is there a fucking fire alarm? Like what the fuck is going on? So he's like,
fuck
it. And it was this voice that I've never heard Conflict do, and it was like this fucking weird announcer, like Senor Frogs, like fucking Cancun, like whatever. He was like, Mansion, Miami, how are you doing tonight? And I was like, what the fuck?
His performance voice.
It was like his performance, but it was like, you know, it was the four liners that all worked.
Needed.
My out of towners, make some noise. You know, welcome to my. It was like, you know, Mansion, blah blah blah. How you doing? My out of towners, make some noise. Whatever. And then that was it. And it was because it was like a slow night, and it was just like a weird vibe. I think that they were doing the buses and shit like that, where people would just come in sober and just rush the bar or whatever. But it was never. I remember I got on towards the end at Mansion.
The end, yeah.
We were getting on the mic more.
I remember like I started getting on the mic because the room was getting harder and harder. So I'm like, yo, fuck these people, like the management. Like, I need to use the mic sometimes just to get the energy back. And I remember almost, it was crazy now to think, but like I'd be like, yo, fuck, like nervous. Like if I was gonna do something like a crazy transition or blend or something, but I was like, yo, fuck, I'm gonna use a mic, and it working, and me still being like, oh man, I hope they don't think that was too much. Like, but I'm like, yo, I remember something.
I mentioned I was comfortable, and I remember the first time I got on the mic at M.I.A, I went like under the booth.
Oh my god,
I was like,
that's a little scary.
I grabbed, because M.I.A, so I was like, damn, I gotta get on the mic. And I was opening whatever, and I was opening for Don Hahn. It was the first Wednesday when they started that party. I was on Fridays, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna try this Wednesday party, hip hop party. You want to open?" Like, and it was the promoters that hit me up, and they were mad cool. Like, there was people that I work with at FDR, and I was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." I remember they're like, "Yo," like he walked up, he's like, "You're doing great," but he's like, "You want to get on?" He's like, "You can get on the mic. I know that you're on the opening," and I was like, "Cool." And I was like, I got on the mic. It's already like fucking feedback, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fucking, this guy's gonna come in here and yell at me.
Fired.
So I grabbed the mic, and I'm like, I go like a little bit under. You remember the Mokai booth? I
Yeah.
go like a little bit under, and I'm like, hey, and then people kind of look around like. I'm like, Mokai, how we doing tonight? And it's like people are like starting up, you know. So I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna say, you know? Yeah, we just getting started, blah blah blah. Wednesdays.
I love how you gotta like.
But I was like, mind you, I'm like kind of like hiding in the booth so I wouldn't get any feedback because I wasn't too comfortable. Like at Mansion, we had the wireless mics and we knew there was no feedback or anything. Like in a different, like I just wasn't comfortable with that room, doing that in that room at that time, that point, whatever. And openers on the mic, I'm no matter what, I'm always super iffy about it.
Isn't it funny? You like, especially your opener, you had to let them know that we're just getting started.
Oh, I mean, always. That's one of my to-go lines. Like, yo, we like, just getting started.
My favorite is when it's late and you're like, yo, we going all the way till 5 a.m.
And there's like 10 people there.
They're like, we are? Like,
yeah.
I would sometimes say an hour earlier just to be like, yo, you gotta be out by 4.
I would say 6. I would always like stretch it out. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, 4 a.m. and I'd be like 5 a.m. Now we doing this shit till 6 in the fucking morning. Who's with me? At Mansion, I would be like really aggressive. But
yeah,
it was bro. It was just a different time, man, and
just makes you think now. Like I think those times are like, I don't know, man. I don't think that we'll ever get back to those times. Not to be like,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to miss those times or nostalgic or anything, but I think at least our generation of like people going out, like,
are not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that.
No, and especially I think like with all this shit during this pandemic, like people staying home and like doing a lot of more things online. Like, I was in someone's Twitch the other day. I forgot who it was. They were DJing, and then I came in. They're like, "Yo, Zaya, what up?" And like playing around. They're like, "Oh, you have any trouble getting in? You good? Was anyone giving you trouble at the door?" And I'm like, "Yo, I think a lot of older people, especially that have like kids, family, dogs, like
they still think."
No, I'm saying like, yo, don't get me wrong. People are always gonna want to go out and have fun and interact with people, but like, you think staying home and just chilling, putting on like, yo, I the other night with my girl, we saw an Incubus concert, and I was like, yo, nice. I'm not mad at this at all because I was watching the people in the concert. I'm like, yo, I mean, obviously there's nothing like a live performance, but like, yo, I was at the crib eating, chilling on the couch, perfect view, all the angles, sound, like I could talk to my girl, like this and that. I think a lot more people might be like, yo, we don't need to go out as much. We can save money. We can just, chill at the crib. There's look at all these DJs online. Look at all these things happening. But the younger generation is gonna like, once this shit lifts.
Yeah, I mean it's cycles. It's cycles that it's literally, like, I mean, just like Animal Farm and like everything else. Like you try to do something and then somebody wants to better it, and then it ends up just being a full cycle of the same thing. And we talked about it early on the podcast how there was venues in Wynwood that wanted to have a rope, wanted to do covers and want to do this and want to do that, and to some people that was a new concept. Like they were like, "What? We have to wear in Wynwood?" And like, why? We can just walk in somewhere else. They're like, "All right, cool. We don't want you." And they wanted to build off that clientele. And it's places like El Patio, charge $40 a guy on a Sunday, and people will pay because it's that exclusivity factor. That's something that's new to people, and it's kind of 50-50 because social media works to their advantage because they're like, damn, that shit is popping. I do want to go there, so it might be worth the money. Instead of
but is it worth the money now that
no.
You don't got a job, you don't fucking.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, now it's definitely it's this generation now, like the Gen Z, which is like the next ones. Maybe the end of them will see it.
Yeah, I feel
like it would have to, because everything's getting reset. We're gonna go back into,
because even going out to eat, like go out to eat often, but now you're almost being conditioned to like, oh, you order in, so like that shit's like it's getting normalized. Oh my God. So you're just ordering food, like instead of going out to eat on the weekend, it's like, all right, we're gonna go eat whatever, and then Uber Eats. So it's like now you're used to doing that.
But I'm so over that shit, bro. Like,
but it's almost weird to like go out and like, I find it's a different thing now to be like, yo, who's down to go have dinner?
Because it's awkward too, and it's awkward in many senses. These are like the way that I see it. So I went out to eat last week with some friends, and we were gonna go to this place in the Gables, but it was closed, so we ended up eating next door because we're like, damn, we're already here. We don't want to fucking. We're tired. We want to fucking eat. Yo, and the venue had outside seating, but I mean, you've seen it, bro. You've seen it fucking all now. Like you've seen the tents and Denny's. Yo, yeah, exactly. Yo, this venue it's like the last place in the end. So they have like in their sidewalk, they have 3-4 tables, but next to them, it's eating house on Ponce and 8th. So where 8th goes west, I guess it used to be like an old gas station, or it's like a little store. It looks like an old gas station, and they turned it to something else. I mean, these people have tables in their parking lot. Like we sat in their parking lot, and they have a tent and everything.
It's a different vibe, bro.
And you're just kind of like, damn, like, yo, what if I was like with a girl and I'm like, want to bring her out somewhere, you know, like that we're like in the parking lot, you know, yeah. and the food at Eating House is good and it's not cheap. So it's like
not the full experience. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
Not the full experience.
Like, for that, just order in. And be
exactly.
comfortable at your crib and not have to worry about.
Bro, there's certain things like you're like, I miss Flanny's, dog.
Nah, I miss like, going out to eat and like having the fucking background noise of the glasses clinking and people around,
being on touch tunes, playing shit and people complaining,
and you're talking to your people and just chilling, like having a night out, like conversating.
Well, I think Flanny's in the Grove is open for outside dining, and I think that they turned the whole parking lot into dining.
Yeah, I ride bike by there all the time. It looks like it's popping, but it's just people outside like waiting
to get orders and shit.
But I don't know, man.
2021. 2021.
But I think we're gonna wrap this up because we're gonna stream.
We gotta prepare for the stream, dog.
That's what we do now. We gotta prepare for our gig.
We have a few. If you're still listening, we have a few pitches. Well, I have a few pitches. I started a Patreon, which is like an OnlyFans. I talked about it on Twitch. And what it is, it's a site that you go and you download content. You pay a monthly fee and you download edits. Patreon, patreon.com/DJCast, DJKA5. I am doing 2 tiers. One tier is going to be edits every week. First of all, I'm going to give you everything, all my edits. If you don't have them already, like what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I've given them out to everybody. There's literally like 1,600 edits on there. So what I'm doing, that's the first batch. When you sign up, you get that now. I'm not giving them out for free anymore. Bills to pay. You get the first batch with everything.
Edits.
Yeah. And everything's sorted, queued, quantized, and gridded. I finally found out how to grid transitions. So when you transition, it goes into the BPM. So when you set an auto loop, it doesn't set it as the beginning. So I figured out. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I'm still trying to fuck with it because I got to do it manually on every beat.
That's clutch.
Yeah, but how many times have you play a transition and you do an auto loop and it's like da-da, 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 and you're like, fuck.
Because it does it to the BPM.
To the first BPM, exactly. So all my newer stuff is going to be graded to the new BPM. And it's only $5 a month. $5 a month. And then on the second tier, it's going to be $10 a month. And on that one, you're going to have a personal batch, and I'm going to include a separate pack every week. Or I don't know if it's going to be every week, but it's going to be it's going to be it's going to have different edits, and it's going to be like a certain pack. Like I'll do like a Perreo 2000 Perreo pack, 10 edits of this. Bad Bunny acapellas, only for the top tier. I'm also going to be doing edit request and any kind of consulting.
Damn. So I like that. That's worth it, bro.
Yeah. So for $10, you can get all that. You can fucking
a one-on-one with DJ Kaz.
I mean, there might be a tier 3, which is like C-Flow level of just Zoom stuff and working on mixes and all that. Screen share stuff and DJs, upcoming DJs, young DJs,
or how to set up a Patreon.
Yeah. Or how to do everything. I can do Ableton. How I can show you guys how I do my edits. I'm gonna post that because I work different than everybody and I do a bunch of different shit. Also, I'm gonna do like transition packs on the second tier where it's just pack of 10 transitions of new songs or old songs. I'm also doing a lot of my personal stuff that I've never put out. Super handy tools. Like I made, you know what I made?
Should throw some of those mixes in there. Those bathroom mixes.
Oh, the P breaks.
Super clutch.
Man, I like that.
That's
I have to
$5 a
throw
month, bro.
I have to throw you. Yeah, I have a bunch of P
Consulting
breaks.
fee.
Yeah, I have a bunch of P breaks. I have a bunch of different mixes.
And you have them. You have like up tempo ones. You have clean
Everything.
ones. You have ones for
Everything.
like if you're in a certain vibe, you
Yeah.
could just keep it there and
Yeah.
go pee or chill or take a shit.
Everything. I have the sit down and eat.
Yeah.
Sit down and eat one.
Clutch.
The best. You don't have to worry about like how many times that you put on a mix and you don't know and you're eating and you're kind of like listening.
And you have those.
Fuck.
I can attest to this. You have those good ones that I would always use, like when it's like a chill gig and like the first hour is just bullshit.
I have a bunch of those.
I have those. You just drop them in, chill. You work on your computer, go eat, go whatever you got to do. But like the little soft opener ones.
It was the best because I would literally sit at home for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, and open up 4 different DJ pools and look at their like 115 to 120 new stuff, vibey stuff, and then just download and pretty much screen them at this gig, record it, and then next time that I'm there at my next gig, that's my first hour and a half.
Or it's even clutch when I'm trying to think of all the scenarios now. I remember having those on a USB and you're in a pool and your computer fucks up or overheats or some shit happens.
Fact.
You could put a mix on it and
I would have on the USBs, like on my USBs, I would always have, I used to buy those packs of USB, remember? I haven't bought those in a fucking month.
Open the USB. Well, like I don't even know what
Bro.
that is.
So I would have the USB where it would be 10-minute Serato tone. I would have 5 or like 3 or 4 like emergency e-brake like
E-brake.
like party savers. Party savers, yeah, like DMX Party Up, Hypnotize, Jay-Z, Kanye, Paris,
like those cold drops in.
Yeah, those explosion, whatever. And then like, I would always keep that on the third CDJ or on the CDJ or whatever, and then I would have those mixes too. 3 or 4 mixes, hip hop opening, indie, corporate open, all those mixes. So all that will be on my Patreon.
If you're not sold after that fucking Patreon ad, then I don't know what's with you. Well, we should do one for M.I.A. Radio. Exclusive content.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, merch. We have merch coming out. Merch coming out soon.
But for now, make sure you follow us on Instagram, M.I.A. Radio.
Yep.
And make sure you follow the twitch.tv/M.I.A. Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Eastern time. That's 3 p.m. West Coast time.
Pacific? No.
Finally.
Yeah.
I was like, it was 3 hours.
3 hours.
I got tired of Googling. I'm like, wait.
A lot of the West Coast fam showed up, so we got to make sure we let them know.
Shout out
3
to
p.m.
everybody. 3 p.m. West Coast time.
But yeah, it's M.I.A. Radio.
And we out.
We out.
Peace.